Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well and had a good trading day today. I'm back here in my dining room for the first time since the very first video that I made. I figured why not go back to the scene of the crime where it all began. So here we are. Plus it's kind of rainy outside today and I just didn't want to deal with having to sit outside and get rained on while I'm trying to make a video. But basically today was a pretty awesome day. I made nearly $2,800 today alone. I was at exactly $2,767 and I traded a lot today. I definitely did not follow my own rule, which is try to keep it to one and done, like meaning, just trade one ticker or maybe two tickers. I kind of went buck wild today and I let myself go crazy. But in the end, it's not a bad thing because I made nearly $2,800 in one day. So you can never argue with that. The breakdown is I made $882 on Moderna. I lost $79 on AMD. I was completely flat on Intel. I made $1,611 on Paramount, and I made $353 on Apple. So I'll show you the detailed ins and outs here in a second so you can, go over that on your own time. But the point of this video is not simply to do another in and out, this minute I got in, this minute I got out. Because I said before, I don't want to keep on doing the same type of video over and over again. The purpose of this video is to basically explain how sometimes even when you lose, you can end up winning. As long as you catch yourself, you realize what you're doing wrong, and you're able to pivot quickly, you can win even when you're losing. And this happened to me today on Moderna. I'm going to talk about this in a second when I do the screen share with you guys. But basically, based on what happened yesterday and where the stock price went overnight after last night and the pattern that I saw this morning, we had a gigantic pop-up overnight. And then early this morning, I saw a double top pattern forming. And I thought to myself, we're going to close the gap off of this double top because we had come so far, so fast. Usually moves like that are not really sustainable. So I had a pretty good feeling that we were going to fall today and close that gap. We did fall just a little bit, and I was up for a few minutes. I was up for about 5 minutes after I opened up that trade. But then we bounced, and it reversed on me, and I was losing money. And I ended up losing quite a bit of money on that put trade that I had. So what I did was I actually closed all of those contracts, and then I flipped and I opened up calls. And I'll show you exactly where I did all of these things in a second. But the main point of this video is to show you that you can be wrong. And as long as you catch yourself, you can get yourself out of a really bad spot. So I was down like hundreds of dollars at the point when I closed out. So I closed my earlier put contracts, and I had lost somewhere around like between $400 and $500. And then I flipped and I went long, and I kept the long positions going throughout the day. And I ended up closing for a total P&L of $882. So we went from a $400 to $500 loss to an $882 profit on the day, simply because I was able to think quickly, react to what I saw on the charts as it was happening, and, just make my moves. Now, I have to say, this type of trading that I did today, it's not beginner level stuff. It's not beginner level on either the way that I traded it or the size. I mean, I traded a lot of contracts. I had 38 fills today. So trading 38 contracts, that's a lot of contracts. And honestly, this is not something that you can do if you're dealing with a really small sized trading account. So if your account is like $1,000 or $2,000, you're not going to be able to do exactly what I did today. This is like large account trading because I have a large account, and most of the time I don't really get into my large account. I mean, I still trade relatively small size, even though I could trade large size. Today, I just wanted to trade large size and I jumped in. Mainly because of what Powell said yesterday and the fact that the markets really seemed to take all the earnings and Powell's speech yesterday as like really risk on type of behavior today. And I saw that and I said, today is going to be a very risk on type of day. And so I jumped in really hard with it. But, so that's a caveat. I mean, I don't want somebody with $1,000 account to see this and be like, oh, cool, I can make $2,800 with my $1,000 account. No, you need more money to be able to do that. But that doesn't change the fact that whatever size you're playing with, the strategy is the same and the things that you can do are the same. Like, I mean, you could have been trading, $100 a piece options contracts and had, 3 of them that you bought and you realize you were wrong. And then when you stop out and it goes the other way, you get 3 more. And then, you make those 3 make you a profit. So just because you may not be able to trade with as large of a size as what I used today doesn't mean that you can't employ the same strategy of quickly realizing when you're wrong and then flipping and going the other direction and making that work for you. All right, so here we are taking a look at Moderna. This is the one trade that I want to focus on with this video because this is the one where I was losing and then I flipped and then I ended up winning big on the day. And I just want to show you all how I got there and how it all played out basically. So let me pull in. Here is my detailed entries and exits. You can check this out. We're gonna be looking at this again in a little bit, but you can see down here my total P&L for the day, $2,767 on a lot of trades. Now, I definitely traded a lot more than I usually do today, but it was, pretty hot day, so I just thought I'm going to jump in and go with a little bit bigger size than what I usually play with. Okay, we're looking at Moderna. This is the daily chart. This was today. Holy shit, look at that. But here's where we started out. We started out today looking at this. So this morning, when I woke up, I'm looking at this. We see this, red day. Yesterday was a green day, but it was basically a doji candle, which is pretty much indecision. Yeah, we did close a little higher, but it was fairly, fairly even as far as you look at the upper wicks and the lower wicks. I mean, we're right in the middle here. And just looking at this did not give me a positive or negative bias. So this morning when I woke up just looking at the daily chart, this is not making me lean long or short, but it's pretty easy to see that since we come up here where we have a doji, we're above the 200 and the 50, you could kind of see a case that we could retrace a little bit, since we had this large green day just a couple days ago, that we could kind of come back to right around this level right here. I didn't think that this was definitely the probability, but that could have happened. And then when we go to the minute chart, you can see what happened overnight. So this is post-market yesterday. This is pre-market today. And then right as we opened up, I mean, it skyrocketed. We went from 111 up to 119 in about 5 minutes. I mean, this is a crazy parabolic move. So this type of move is unsustainable. So I see this first thing in the morning, this crazy parabolic move, and we've got about another 15 minutes of action. And then I see this right here, this big red candle after this green candle, creating a double top. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're going to fall and we are going to fill the gap. I absolutely, at this point, thought that we were going to come back down to around this level, around like 112, around that level. You know, I saw this pattern, and a lot of times these patterns are correct. And I absolutely thought that we were going to get at least enough of a move down to like the 200. I thought we would slice through the 50 EMA, and I thought we would get at least to the 200. And I would pay close attention to price when we got to the 200. And then if we sliced right through that, I would stay in it and just ride it down. So that's what I thought would happen. Now, if we pull my detailed entries and exits back, okay, the thing I want you to focus on is right here where my cursor is at, Moderna. Right here, you see I opened up 3 contracts at 8:56 a.m. So 8:56. Basically, when we got down here, I thought, okay, we had just broken below what was previously the low. So right here where you see my cursor is right here at 116.24, this lower wick of this big red candle, which was the previous low at 8:55. Yeah, 8:55 right here. So right on this candle, this is where we broke below our previous low. And that told me, okay, I can get in and I'm going to go short. That's what I did. You see, I bought puts. You see this 118 put. So I bought one more at 9 a.m. because we came up a little bit, retraced just for a second, came back down. I thought, okay, I'm going to get in before we slice through the 50 and fall down. Well, this ended up being the worst move that you could make because, you know, in hindsight, we see that almost immediately after I opened up this position, it just completely reversed and bounced off of the 50. And this will happen. You will be wrong. I mean, the best people in the world to do this are wrong sometimes. And so even though we had this giant parabolic move and we had this double top and we had started to fall, and I thought, I mean, I had a high degree of certainty that we would come down and fill the gap. Sometimes, even when you have a ton of certainty that a certain thing will happen, that thing won't happen. And so you have to be prepared to do something else and pivot quickly. So what I did was, you can see where my cursor is right here, 9:06, Moderna, sell. See this +4 to close? So I had 4 positions that I had opened. I had 4 put contracts that I had opened just a few minutes earlier. And then at 9:06, right here, I closed them because at this moment, we had broken above the high of the day. And, we were already at like crazy highs. Let me get this out of the way again and go back to the daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart, these highs that we were at were already above, you've got to go way back to, like months ago, before you can see the highs that we had achieved today. So that's not just like, if those highs had been yesterday or the day before, I might have let it run a little bit longer, but those highs were a long time ago. And so once we broke those highs this morning, I thought to myself, okay, that's definitely a thing that I need to worry about. Okay, so if you look at my detailed ins and outs, you see I opened up 4 put contracts. They didn't work. I sold them just 6 minutes later. And then 3 minutes after I sold my puts, I started opening up calls, because at 9:09, let's look at 9:09 right here. See this hammer candle, this green hammer candle? We had 2 really huge red candles, and then this hammer candle, which was sitting right around this level where we'd had a lot of activity so far on the day. I just figured that we were going to reverse, and I wanted to get in and make up the losses that I had just experienced being wrong on the put. And so I opened up calls, and you can see I opened up 1, then 2, then 1 more. So I opened up 4 call options on Moderna. I had 4 puts that didn't work, closed them out for a loss, and then I opened up 4 calls. And then you can see, if we fast forward throughout the day, at 12:57, I closed one of them, and then I closed another one just a few seconds later, held on, closed my next one at 1:05, and then I closed my final Moderna call option at 1:35. And that ended up giving me a realized profit of $882 on Moderna, simply because I wasn't afraid to close out for a loss and then flip and then ride the other direction all day long, which is exactly what I did. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen to you all the time or that it's easy to do. This was definitely more advanced type of trading today. A lot of the stuff that I've been doing on the channel has been very, very basic types of things, and this was more advanced. But I just want to, show people a lot of different aspects of what you might encounter. So you're not always going to be going into the day thinking, I'm going to trade 1 contract or 2 contracts. Maybe you've got a larger account and you want to trade a lot more. Or maybe, you're watching this and you are a little bit more experienced. I'm not just going to assume that everybody watching this is a complete beginner. So it's just a thing that happened today, and I thought it was interesting and wanted to point that out. Okay, we're back. Hope you liked that little breakdown. And I hope it was easy to understand how you're never out. You're never down and out until you decide you're done. Like, if you decide that you're done, then you're done. But if you don't decide that you're done, you don't need to be done. I don't want to encourage reckless behavior, meaning I would never want somebody to just keep on trading all day long until they've, traded the maximum amount of their account every single day. That's a recipe for disaster. And if you do that, sooner or later, you will blow up your account. And obviously you don't want that. But what I'm saying is that if you always leave yourself with enough, bullets in the chamber, so to speak, as far as having reserves of cash in your account, then whatever happens, if you haven't gone all in on your first entries, if you realize you were wrong, you can always flip and you can go the other direction and you can make your losses back plus a lot more, just like what I did today. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, tomorrow's Friday, so size down, be smart, trade strategically, and until next time, have a good weekend.